Hi, my name is Mike Ward. I'm the Global Director of Content at Informa Pharma Intelligence's Insights portfolio. We're here at the Biotech Showcase in San Francisco where many biotech companies come to look for new assets or new partnerships. One of those companies is a 2-year-old startup based in London called Rexgenero, which actually is in the interesting position of having a phase 3 asset. I'm joined by Joe Dupere, who's the company CEO. So thanks for joining us, Joe. So Rexgenero, what is this company? Where did it come from?
So we're an advanced therapy company, so we focus primarily on cell therapies, but we're also doing some research on gene therapies and tissue engineering. We licensed a whole range of assets from the government of Andalusia 2 years ago. They developed a number of assets all the way through to the end of phase 2. And what we spent the last 2 years doing is transitioning it from what was a transplant to a full GMP product, working with the regulators, the EMA, some of the local regulators and the FDA to put together a phase 3 protocol, which is just about to start as soon as we get our GMP license.
Right. So, I mean, how did you actually identify an Andalusian asset in the first place?
So it came through, I was consulting for a number of different investors, and this came through the network, and so I went down to Seville and had a look at the assets, and it was really very interesting, particularly the quality of the data that they had. Compared to, there's a lot of other products in this area, and it was really quite impressive how far they'd come and how good the data was.
Right. So what's so special about that asset? I mean, what's its sort of key factor?
So the product is for critical limb ischemia, which is a very serious disease. It's a vascular condition where patients lose blood vessels in the limb, and that causes ulcers, severe pain. There's a high risk of amputation. There's a high risk of mortality. And this has been an area where there have been hundreds of products in development, and nothing's ever been approved in Europe or in the US. And so what was so impressive about this is it's a cell therapy approach. So it rebuilds the blood vessels in the leg, and then it reverses all of the pathology. And you can see a really quite significant improvement in the patients. We see 2/3 of patients are completely healed of critical limb ischemia, which is really unprecedented in the area.
Is it a patient-centric cell therapy, or is it something you get off the shelf?
No, it's an autologous therapy, so we manufacture it individually for each patient. It's manufactured from bone marrow. We collect it, it's selected and then packaged up, and then it's infused into the patient for the treatment.
So you in-licensed this asset from the Andalusian government. So is this the only asset that Rexgenero has at the moment?
No, we have 3 programs in critical limb ischemia. They're all slightly different, and they're slightly different stages, and that enables us to optimize the product over time. But we're also researching a range of other cell therapies in the area of multiple sclerosis, congestive heart failure, ALS, dermatology, ophthalmology. There's a really broad range of programs within Andalusia. There are about 20 programs in the clinical development.
And the financing of these programs, I mean, where have you secured that money from?
We're quite an unusual position in that we're financed by 2 private individuals who are prepared to finance the company all the way through to profitability. They come from an unusual background, but they have some interest in healthcare. So
right. Okay. So you're at this meeting. The purpose is what, to find partners for to move the programs forward, or is it to get new assets?
It's a combination. I mean, partly we're looking to bring in new investors who potentially can strengthen our board, give us a bit of a different profile, but also looking for partners, particularly for markets where it would be difficult for us to commercialize on our own. So in Asia, China in particular, Middle East, those types of geographies where the local content is really important.
Right. And what sort of investors are you looking for? Because I mean, Mo said it's like 2 private investors. Are you?
We're primarily looking for specialist biotech VCs who can bring experience, cross-referencing, particularly in the US market where there's a lot of other companies like this and a lot of other technologies that are relevant to us.
Right. So over the next 12 months, what sort of milestones are you looking to reach?
Okay, so we should get a GMP license over the next month, and once we have the license, we can start immediately. We have all of our sites lined up to start off. We have actually 2 phase 3 programs for 2 different subpopulations of the condition, so that'll be in the next couple of months. And we're also looking at a number of early access programs to get early access into the UK and into German market. So we will do that over the next 6 months as well.
Right. Okay. And how big is the company at the moment? I mean, it's 2 years old. I mean, it sounds like a virtual outfit.
Yeah, we're relatively virtual. We have just over 20 people between London and in Seville in Spain. Most of our lab people, so R&D and manufacturing is in Seville.
Right, okay, great. Well, Joe, thanks very much for coming and explaining the story to us.
Thank you very much.
Cheers.